Hello and namaste, my beautiful friends. I am Jill Loftus of Nuit Astrology. Welcome to your planetary energy forecast for the week of February the 17th, 2025. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the energy we're entering the week with. We still have that huge amplification of the Neptune in Pisces because of the co-presence of the North Node in Pisces. Now remember, of course, are standing across the sky from this Pisces energy, we have the South Node in Virgo. So this is hugely impactful for both Pisces people and Virgo people, but also any of the mutable signs, right? We've also got them, very much activating the Gemini Sagittarius axis of the chart as well. And it is important that we bring forward, we lift up that energy of Pisces, because we're really seeing how negative people are exploring that energy, how they're vibing with the most negative or shadow side of it. It's interesting. I was working on a membership recording this week for my private members, and it's just an overview of Neptune in general, and then looking at this new energy that starts at the end of March with Neptune moving into Aries. And a lot of the texts that I were going through, I was like reviewing some of my textbooks, and a lot of them talk about how, to look forward to the era when Neptune is in Pisces, and how it will be spiritual and compassionate, and it will be a high mark for humanity. And instead, I see the shadow of Neptune. I see the shadow of Pisces everywhere, of confusion and delusion and deception, glamorization, guilt, difficult emotions, illusory circumstances, instead of the higher expressions of it. And so this is your opportunity now, with this movement of these two energies together, the North Node, which turns the volume up, which increases, which augments whatever it touches, to increase that Neptunian energy. It's important for you to step into the highest expression, for you to embrace your compassion, your artistic beauty, your poetry, your creativity, your romantic side, your spiritual connection, and your intuition. All right. This will be even more important as we get into next month, where we will have so many energies backing up in the sign of Pisces. So this month is just kind of training for next month, and next month is a lot. So it's really important that you try to elevate that Pisces energy. We also have all week this lovely connection between Saturn in Pisces and Mars in Cancer. Now, we've been feeling this. This was really strong last week, but it's going to be easing a little bit, but still, it's present. It's currently firing. So there's something to solidify an action in the Cancer area of life that's flowing from the Pisces area of life. And this could be a repetitive energy. This could be something you're reconsidering or repairing because of the Mars retrograde cycle. Remember that Mars went into this area of life back in mid-September. So there could be some themes coming up from then. And we are preparing for the Mars station at the end of this week. It will pause in the sky and move forward. I'll talk a little bit more about that as we get to it, but that's definitely a day to keep track of. So there is this potential opportunity right now with the Saturn-Mars to lock something in. So take advantage of that. Lean into that. All right. So as we start the week, we have this new flow of energy. The sun going from the very, very last degrees of Aquarius on Monday, and then moving into the sign of Pisces on Tuesday, the 18th. So Pisces season begins. Blessings to all my Pisces people. And for me, I'm excited about the Pisces season. It means, we're heading towards Aries season. We're heading towards the equinox. We're getting ready for spring. So love this last bit of time in the Hermitage for Pisces season. Then we have also 2 days later, on the 20th, we have Mercury also in the sign of Pisces, coming into a little bit of a clash, a difficult angle with Jupiter in Gemini. Now, Jupiter in Gemini is giving us volumes of information, lots of chatting, lots of discussing, lots of things flowing towards us. And as I record this, I think of the image that comes to me of this square between Mercury and Jupiter is this person trying to spend some time alone, right? And Mercury in Pisces, wanting to think, wanting to ruminate, wanting to create, wanting to meditate. And yet here's Jupiter and Gemini just dumping words, dumping letters, pouring information into that person. And it's kind of like trying to break through the meditative state. So just watch any sense of overwhelm that you might be experiencing this week, especially with that. Now, there could be some gold nuggets in there. There could be some fabulous ideas that flow in, but you're going to need to be able to take the time to process all the quantity of information so that you can retain the beneficial information and let go of the extraneous information. So it's a time to have your guardrails up as far as what you're consuming, as far as news, social media, etc., and be wise about what you're taking in. Be discerning, be respectful, and realize that with so much energy in Pisces, we're all a little bit more porous. We're all soaking up our environment a little bit more. And so we have to be observant of not just what we take into our bodies in the terms of food, water, and sustenance, but also what we take into our brains in terms of information. So in fact, I've been in the preparation for the next month, because next month is so intense and also personally intense for my particular chart. I have decided to approach this with mantra. And many years ago, I took a wonderful 5-day immersion training in Bhakti Yoga with the master teacher Michael Johnson in Asheville, North Carolina. Bhakti Yoga is the yoga of devotion. And so it involves chanting, which is basically like repeating an affirmation. And so I had his CDs, and I came across him on Instagram the other day, and I was like, I really need to hear some of his music again. And so I got on his website, and he and his wife had a band. It's called Osel, O-S-E-L. Anyways, I downloaded a couple of his chant albums, and I have been listening to Om Mani Padme Hum on repeat. It's really been helping. I can already feel it's building up my field and building up a protective aura to help me manage all of the energy. So I highly recommend doing something similar so that you can also be preparing for the month of March. Now, I'm also keeping an eye on this Mars direct date. This is on the 23rd, all right? On Sunday, Mars will pause in the sky and then begin to move forward. It's at 17 degrees of the sign of Cancer. And so this 17-degree point has been highly activated. It has been vibrating for a while. This, as a planet moves backwards, it gets really slow till it gets to that point of pause. And it lingers there for a while. And Mars has been lingering there since the middle of February, and will linger there until it really gets some momentum going early in March. But this point is really activating anywhere around 17 degrees of the cardinal signs. This is something to take note of. All right. And so this is a very active Mars. This is a very touchy Mars. This is a very overreactive Mars, right? In Cancer, very emotional Mars. It's like a warrior who's like, can be a big crybaby sometimes, can throw tantrums and things like that. And it's in the sign that relates to family and home and country. So very reactive Mars. And as it moves forward, it initiates, it ignites, it starts things. So I want to keep an eye on that. That is also the day that Venus gets to 10 degrees of the sign of Aries, which is the point where she is going to pause on the 1st of March and begin her backward journey. So recall, keep in mind, from now until the middle of May, both Mars and Venus are in their retrograde or retrograde shadow. And so we must take that into account when we're making our decisions, when we're trying to lock things in, because there's a bit of instability here. There's a bit of understanding that things are maybe not going to take or go exactly according to plan. There's still some redoing to do, rethinking, repair, right? So things are not necessarily going to be locked in. There's going to be some juggling and adjustment, so keep that in mind. Now, I apologize, last few weeks I have not done the light and the shadow. Again, my life has been very busy and very challenging. So this week, though, I will hop back into that pattern. And so for the light of the week, I'm loving the Pisces season begins. Some of my favorite people are Pisces. I'm also loving the Mars trine Saturn. I just love a little bit of Saturnian support for an erratic Mars. And then finally the Mercury in Pisces. even though it's clashing with Jupiter, I'm feeling like that is still giving us this potential for ideas, for problem solving, right? Now, as far as the shadow of the week, I've got my eyes on just the volume of Pisces power that we have going on here. Pisces is such an unconscious trigger. And so in the world, most people don't feel comfortable with it. Those of you who have been doing your spiritual practice, your spiritual work, who are in touch with that part of yourself, I think you'll be fine. But the rest of the world struggles, and so we must be wise. I'm also watching the overwhelm that could come from Mercury and Jupiter, and definitely keeping an eye on that. And then that Mars station, we're going to keep an eye on that for sure. It happens late, East Coast time, 9 p.m. on the 23rd, but I've got my eye on that. So I hope you found this useful and helpful. I appreciate your patience. I would love any questions that you have. Drop them below in the comments, or feel free to email me, jill@nuitastrology.com. And let's take a look at the tarot and see what it has to say about the week. Hello, beautiful friends. Let's take a look at the Isis Lotus Tarot spread for the week of February the 17th, 2025. Not a super dramatic week until we get to that Mars station at the end. But then again, I don't know. There's just so much happening. I understand the overwhelm. You're not alone. We've got to do our practices and stay steady. So Isis Lotus Tarot for the collective for this week. 2 different ways to manage the energy. Wow, lots of shuffling here. Wow, getting some mixed messages here. All right, now, okay. All right, so as you know, in the first card, let's back it up a little bit, beep, beep, beep here. All right, in our first card, we are looking at the basic influence of the past, so where we're coming from. We've got the King of Swords. We've been trying to be rational, logical, thoughtful. And you are in conflict, 5 of Wands, feeling difficult, feel a lot of heavy emotions. The present environment is also loaded with difficult emotions. We've got the 3 of Swords coming up, so the mind piercing the heart. And as these culminate, 9 of Pentacles, you have to step into your power. You have to feel like you have choices and options. You have to feel like you can do the things that you feel called to do. And so the key card of the future is the 3 of Wands, to remember that you've already started laying the foundation for these decisions. Now, our opposing energies in play, the Hierophant. So the Hierophant could be either you being in a position of dispensing advice or wisdom, or you needing to seek it out. The other energy is the Queen of Swords, the logic queen. Now, the New Year future detail card is the 4 of Cups. Now, I always say that this card could be either trust the universe or don't wait, do something, take action. So let's see how the other cards come out. Our modifiers here are, on the Hierophant side, the Emperor. So very powerful rulership energy. On the Queen of Swords side, Justice, big decisions being made. And then paired with the Emperor, we have the 5 of Cups, which is a focus on the negative and not the positive. And on the Justice side, we have the 2 of Swords, our inability to see something, our desire not to know the truth. Now, there's the two clarification solutions to the issues. On the Hierophant, Emperor, and 5 of Cups side, we have the 9 of Wands, which suggests pushing through. With the Queen of Swords, Justice, 2 of Swords, we have the World card, which reminds us we will be successful. With the 9 of Wands, we have the 6 of Wands, recognition and success. And with the World card, we have the Lovers card. Wow. Well, we've got an interesting week coming up, don't we? All right. So I'll get to this 4 of Cups once we get there. Let's recap. So we're starting out trying to make logical decisions and being rational. And we've got some inner conflict. We might even be arguing with people in our lives who disagree with some of our decisions, right? But yet, despite the emotionality that we're steeped in, we are starting to see that we have choices to make and that we're moving in the right direction. We're getting to a better place. Now, we may be in the position where people have to consult with us, or we need to reach out and talk to somebody. Now, I would say these cards, both sets of cards, don't indicate just sitting around waiting. It's like you have to take charge, right? And on this side, you have to be the emperor. You have to decide that, the emperor makes hard decisions. And, once those hard decisions are made, we have to try not to focus on the negative. We have to be realistic but positive. We push forward, and then we will achieve something this week. We'll get there. Now, on the other side, we're approaching it with this very rational, right? We started out as the King of Swords, the very first card in the spread, and now we have the Queen of Swords here. So continuing our logic, our truth-telling, our straightforward approach to this, right? But then we cannot just sit around, all right? We have to make a decision, a big decision. We have to balance our head and our heart and try not to self-deceive or self-destruct, all right? And if we make the decision, we move past this self-deception, not only will be worldly successful, wildly successful, worldly successful, we'll also have the perfect thing arrive for us. So both of these have a really nice outcome to them. I'm really liking this spread for the week. It's very encouraging. So I hope you take advantage of these energies and have an amazing week. I'll see you soon. Bye.